Welcome back, y'all, and happy Wednesday. This is the Bluechip Breakdown, and I'm your host, Bull. It's time for our news, notes, and thoughts from day 9 of spring practice. Y'all, please do make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. It helps us out tremendously. I would also like to kind of start this thing off. Y'all know that P and I have kind of like a national channel. It's called Sports Legends. We would love for y'all to join us over there. We're working on something here pretty big. We might have it out maybe tomorrow. If not tomorrow, maybe the day after tomorrow. But we're going to be talking NIL. Okay, we're going to be talking about a whole lot of things that I know that y'all would love to hear about. So we hope that you will join us there. Shout out to all the members. If y'all would like to become a member and get the All 22 film, which we have some more coming out for y'all today. But that, and then also we go deeper into breaking down film, things like that for our Tennessee volunteers. You can do so. Then you can do so by clicking on the join button just below this video. And we also are taking donations. So the Cash App QR code is not up here right now, but we do have that link. That's going to be down below. But you can click on that link and donate as little as $1. We would appreciate all of that so much. Thank you so much also for all of the support that y'all have done up to this point. But we have a lot of good notes. I had to send a shout out to Patrick Brown from GoVols 24/7. He took some excellent notes. Actually, I don't know if he's the same one that's been taking the notes for them over the course of spring, but he's, whoever, they're doing a really good job of taking some meaningful notes. So definitely love that. Also, I think that there were some good questions coming from the media today. So, those things are big for me because it gives us a little bit more to talk about, gives us a much better picture of how the team actually looks. So let me get here. Let me go ahead and get to this comment right here from Miss Terry's Bathwater is asking, did I see the pic of Bishop and saying that he looks like one giant muscle. So I'm not sure which picture you're talking about, but yeah, he's definitely rock solid. You know what I'm saying? He's very well put together for sure. Sounds like he's been having a very good spring so far. So we did get to hear today from Coach Ings. That's our linebackers coach. We heard from some linebackers. We heard from some linemen. There was some pretty good takeaways from that. I always love listening to Coach Ings because he always has really good things to say. So before we get into the injury status and all that type of stuff, we'll kind of go through the notes from the people that did talk today with the press conferences, and I will, you know what? Let's roll some of this secondary. So while I'm going through this, y'all can look at our secondary, what they did today. All right. So with Coach Ings, the first thing that he said was that all the linebackers are basically dual. So they can play Mike, they can play Will. Tennessee mostly is going to be playing a nickel base, but within Tennessee's nickel, it's kind of like a 3-3-5, 4-2-5 hybrid. So our Leo, he's actually a linebacker, but he's really a stand-up end. So those two linebackers, they had to, it's good for them to be able to play both. There are some differences, but there's going to be, it's similar enough that it's not the most difficult thing in the whole world. And something else that Coach N said that I absolutely love. He said that he talks to these players that, whether they come from high school or whether they're transfer portal players, he says, if you can count to 3, you can play for me. It's corny, but the whole point there that I love is that he's simplifying things. He doesn't have to overcomplicate it. And that's what that's what we were kind of talking about before with Coach E. I don't know that he is overcomplicating things, but it did kind of sound like, listening to Larry Johnson talk, he was like, yeah, he uses, complex words and that. Like, you shouldn't be doing that. Not that the players are dumb or anything. They're all very smart, but there's no need to overcomplicate it. You've got to be able to make it simple. I think the Coach Inge does that. And he also talks about building depth by putting the players in the fire, putting them on the field. Like, that's the best way to do it. I don't know why more coaches. That's kind of like an old school way of coaching where you want to, we're going to let these guys kind of, ride the bench and learn that way. No. Put them out there. That's how you learn. I can't tell you how many times I'm watching college football last season. So many teams, there's freshmen out there playing, and yeah, they don't look, perfect to start the season off, but by the end of the season, when it counts, you got plenty of folks that you can count on. So that's why this linebacker room is as good as it looks right now, y'all, because Coach Inge is doing a hell of a job. All right, so loved hearing all those things. He also said that the room isn't shorthanded. He doesn't look at the room as being shorthanded for the reason that we just kind of mentioned. He expects for the players to know what to do and to be ready to play, and he gets them prepared for that moment. So love that. He also said that he's very proud of Brendan Ains. He said that he's out there asking questions, and he loves how he's growing. And he's putting both of the Jadens through like a mental strain, which they can't really do anything right now, right? So over the course of spring, they've been having to get in those mental reps, and he's testing them from that perspective. Like, I don't necessarily, and everyone's coaching style is different, but for me, it makes more sense. Instead of, hey, I'm going to check your notes, I'm just going to ask you straight up, hey, do you know this? Hey, look, this is the situation. What are we doing? That to me is a little bit easier because now you know that they didn't just write it down, but they understand what to do. So I love that, and I'm not, I'm not, I'm not knocking Coach E's style, but we will see. If the offensive line don't look right this season, I'm that's going to be a huge issue for me. So, what else do we have here? And he also said, talking about those Jadens, that's both of our, that's two of our freshman linebackers that haven't played up to this point. But he said basically that they're going to get a ton of reps over the summer. So we are expecting that they're going to be able to get out there and start rolling coming up here, pretty soon. I guess in about like a couple of months. So next, he said that he's pushing Arion Carter to be the best linebacker in the country. And, he wants for him to see how the offense lines up and know, hey, these are the 3 to 4 plays based off of the down and distance situations and what, the tendencies that this team is going to run here. So love that. What else did he say? And oh man, I loved hearing this. I mean, Coach Inge totally gets it. So he also said that one of the biggest things, not just for the linebackers, but for the whole defense, is getting off blocks. Okay, which is huge. It's something that we talked about a lot. The members of this channel, if y'all watched some of our film breakdowns from last season, y'all know exactly what we're talking about here. Our linebackers didn't do the best job. Really, a lot of our players didn't do the best job of disengaging with those blocks. So I'm happy to hear that that's a strong point of emphasis, and they're also looking to get better playing out in space. You have to do that as well. Something else that we talked about. And then listen, man, so he calls Jeremiah Teenlander Power T. I love that nickname. Just because it's very, very fitting. All right, so let me pause from this real quick. Let me get to some of these. Looks like some more chats come in. I'm gonna try to get to y'all real quick. So from Big T, SNSD saying love Coach Ins, saying that Power T looks like a beast. Yeah, he is a beast. He's a dog. From Austin Anderson is saying that I wish that we got video from the scrimmage. Yeah, I do too. But Coach Hype, he ain't gonna let us see all that. You know what? He keeps it very, very close to the vest. But and that could also be part of the reason that we don't see a whole lot of like extensive notes on things. But we do have some good ones today that we'll get to here in just a minute. So let me go ahead and get through the rest of the players that we got to hear from today. So number one, Jeremiah Teenlander, who we do call Power T now. He said that he loves that new nickname. He had another one before that he wouldn't say what it was. He didn't really like that one. Edwin Spillman actually says the exact same thing. But he, Power T speaks glowingly of Edwin Spillman. He said that he's that juice guy now that AC's out. So good to hear that, right? He's a young guy, but now he's kind of a vet inside of that room. So that's excellent. He also says that Arion Carter's working really hard to get back out on the field. And he just overall, he sounds very excited about that room. I am too, man. To me, really, I hate to pick the favorites, but I think that the linebacker room is probably my favorite room from top to bottom on this team. So next, we had Jackson Moore. He came out and spoke, and he said that he wants to play faster. That's what he's working on this season. And I think he means playing faster from a mental perspective of knowing what to do. That's something that everyone can always take steps forward with. And he also said that he thinks that the D-line needs to work on being students of the game. That's kind of back to the first point that he made. And he says that Nico looks a lot more comfortable as a leader. So I think that those are some pretty strong points coming from Jackson Moy. Next was Edwin Spillman. And Edwin Spillman, okay, let me make sure that's still going. All right, so Edwin Spillman said that he has a better understanding of Tennessee's defense, which is to be expected. Second year in Tennessee's system. He had a little bit of time off. He didn't play for most of the year because he had that injury. But with that time off, you get in those mental rests. We heard what Coach Inge is doing with these guys when they're not able to go physically, that he's making sure that they're getting in mental reps. I can tell you firsthand that can be very, very beneficial for a football player to see things from the outside in, right? Because these guys, most of these guys probably haven't taken a season off from playing football since they was 5 and 6 years old. But having some more time to kind of step back, that definitely helps you grow tremendously. And it sounds like that's what's happening with Edwin Spillman. But he also says that he doesn't feel young within Tennessee's defense. I think that's a great sign. And he feels like the blitzing has picked up for him. There's something else that I talked about. Tennessee's linebackers didn't do the best job blitzing last season. Part of that was not getting off blocks, not having some moves to beat the offensive linemen or the tight ends or those running backs. But now it feels like we've got some secondary moves. We talked about that some with Jordan Burns over the course of spring. See him spinning all of that. That's really good. So last player is going to be Joshua Josephs, and we'll take you right here we'll take it to the tight ends next. All right, so next, I want to talk about Joshua Josephs. So he says that he feels like he has something to prove, right? He came in with James Pierce. I don't think that this is what he was saying, but he did come in with James Pierce. He also kind of talked about seeing the guys that he came in with going to the NFL Combine and all of that. I think that has him motivated. So that's a great thing for us. Joshua Josephs is a dog. He's a very good football player. And he says that he feels a lot more confident because the bond, he said, is way stronger with the D-line this season than it was last year. That's crazy because I feel like it was very strong last season, but maybe it was, and it's, just, I would say times 10 now. So that's always great. He says he's been lifting weights. He's been working out with Caleb Herring. So typically, when you go through like your workouts and stuff, you're gonna have kind of like a partner that you work out with, and that's usually like the coaches will, the strength coach will tell you, hey, this is who your guy is. Sometimes you can pick. Either way, Caleb Herring is this guy, and he says that they have a very close bond. He's expecting some big things from Caleb Herring. That's great to hear. And he also says that he thinks that Pro Football Focus's grades for him last season had him a little bit overrated. Okay, so this is kind of what you would like to hear, right? It just means that he's very hard on himself. He wants to get better. I don't know exactly what his grades were from last season, but the question I was asked was, how did the coach's grades, how does Coach Ayers' grades look, versus what PFF had for you on a grading scale? So he said that it was kind of similar. All right. And then he also said his main goal is to win a national championship. So those are the takeaways from the press conferences, what we got to hear today. Let me get to some more of these chats real quick right here from my dog Green Wave saying Power T. Love it. Yeah, that's a great nickname. And also Green Wave is saying add years normally hard playing on the road at Bama and Florida. And I think that we get past that this year. Yeah, I think that those are great points. That can Tennessee get over those road woes? I think that you're on point with that. I feel like Tennessee will. And from Big T NSD saying Power T fits him. He's a big dude, beast mode. Yeah, he's got great size. Also, just kind of like we'll look at the linebackers here in just a second. But with that room, actually, I can pull that up now. Well, no, I'm away because we got to go through the injuries. But yeah, we've got guys that are 6'2", 6'3", 235 to 245. They can all move. They're very, very, very well put together. This is a tremendous linebacker room. But from my dog David Speaks, what's going on, David? Saying that Edwin Spillman looks like he can be a okay. So him and AC and T-Lander. Okay. Yeah. So I think that's going to be a really good trio for sure. Kind of rotating in. Don't forget about Jordan Burns. Please don't forget about Ben Bolton. We got some guys in that room. And then also he's saying that he is excited to see which freshman pushes for playing time. So I can tell y'all right here, right now, Jaden Perlotti, right? Played at Buford. I've been on him, man. I've been on him for a long time trying to get him to come to Tennessee. But he is a man child. I promise you, we haven't seen him with pads on yet, but mark it down right now today. This is April the 2nd at 1:45, whatever. Mark it down right now. Jaden Perlotti, once them pads come on, you're going to hear his name. He's a guy, okay? If he's filled out enough, which I think he probably has, he can play as a true freshman. That linebacker, and I mean, that's not – listen, Jaden Harmon, same thing. I think that Brendan Ainge is looking good too. That room is loaded, so I'm excited about it. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into real quick, man. Let's talk about some of these injuries, right? So we do have some more names on here. So who all did we add? All right, so Braylon Staley doesn't sound like he dressed out today or he wasn't doing anything today, at least whenever the media people was actually out there. He might have done something after that fact. But I'm sure that he's going to be fine. All right, I had to make sure that I throw that out there. And then we also have Marcus Gorey. He wasn't going today. I'm sure that he's going to be fine. And the freshman running back, D. Morris, he's another one. Wasn't really going. And then redshirt freshman offensive lineman Gage Ginther. So those are the names that we added to this list. We only have, y'all, I think, 5 more days of real practice left. And then we've got on the 6th day, we'll have the orange and white game. So it's not that much time left. I think the orange and white game is April the 16th or something like that. So they're going to spread it out over, the next couple of weeks. But I would expect that we'll start to see these new names will probably come back off. And I'm hoping that they will be fine. Let me get to this one right here. We got a super chat. Thank you so much for this from Big T NSD saying that he loves our breakdowns, man. Thanks. And listen, thank you so much for that. We appreciate that type of we appreciate just everything that y'all do for us, man, just because y'all are the ones that are keeping us going. Y'all have made this channel grow. We're almost up to 8,000 subs. So I'm going to go ahead and play this clip. Thank you so much for that. But yeah, so let's go ahead and kind of jump into the rest of the video today. So we're going to start off right here with the linebackers. We just kind of talked about them, right? Obviously, got some good looking bodies. Okay, some of these guys listed like 6'1", 235, close to 240, almost all of them. Talking about vets, but I think that Jaden Perlotti, okay, he might be up to 220, maybe 230 by the time the season starts. He could probably get up to about 230. He's got great length. I can tell you that firsthand. He has plenty of room to definitely get filled out since I'm sure that he's still running and staying in shape, but he's not going to be running around probably as much. So this is a good time for him to, get as, big and strong as he possibly can. Obviously still kind of going through the rehab stuff, which it sounds like he's out of that sling. So maybe he can do a little bit more from that perspective. But I think that he's going to be fine. I love all these freshmen. I love this entire room from top to bottom. Not much more that I can say about it. Actually, I want to play these clips for y'all as well, just to kind of show you how they're looking out there. So first and foremost here with this walkthrough, that was Ben Bolton right there, I think, number 33. I don't know if he's still a walk-on guy, but he was a walk-on guy. Listen, I mean, he looks great. Like these guys with that size, you can see the definition with their abs. You know what I'm saying? Which means that it's not bad weight. They've got really good weight. These guys are lean. Look at Daggum Jordan Burns. Look at how long his arms are. Look at how well put. I mean, he's a prototype linebacker. He looks great. Edwin Spillman here. You know what I'm saying? Just again, just walking through. I think that the form looks clean there, but these guys are thumpers. These guys are dogs. They want to make plays. And I think having, guys like AC, guys like Power T leading this group, listen, this is going to be one of the best, I think, linebacking cores in the entire country, especially if those freshmen can get acclimated and pick up the system here by the time the season kicks off. And I think that they will. I know that they're going to get some opportunities, especially versus some lesser teams. I'm expecting for Tennessee's offense to put up a lot of points and give those underclassmen a chance to see the field early so that in playoff time, when it counts, y'all, okay, because we're going to have the championship, when it counts, those guys are going to be ready. So super, super proud of what they're doing. Let me get on back. All right. So next is Tennessee's Leo room, right? So Joshua Joseph's heard from him. Sounds very confident. We kind of talked about it. It sounds like he was dominant in our first scrimmage, which he really should be, but it's good to hear because we didn't hear about too many other players on defense showing that dominance. Now that could be, I don't know why. Maybe people just aren't getting that information. But, yeah, that's huge. Jordan Ross expecting a really big year from him. Hoping that Caleb Herring gets back here healthy soon. And I'm going to also throw this out there. There's a few guys that I saw in some of the clips, that were just, they didn't have on pads or anything. It was kind of like going through warm-ups and stuff that aren't, they're not playing right now because I guess they're kind of injured or going through their rehab and stuff. But, man, let me tell you something. They look huge. Okay, they look really good. Some of them are freshmen. I don't want to throw out any any individual names, but they look jacked. Okay, so I'm excited about really all of those linemen. I think that they're some of these guys that people aren't thinking is going to take that step. I think that they could take a huge step forward. So it's, here it's even deeper than what some people might think. Let me get to some more of these chats. I just want to make sure that I'm staying on top of this. From David Little saying that he loves our content. Thank you so much for that. That means a lot to us. We put a lot of time and work into this thing. And from All Vols Talk Show is asking, does Matthew step up? And if not, does he leave? Also, will Merklinger ever see the field to keep him happy? I honestly think Merklinger can go play wherever he wants outside of the SEC. So I'm going to say first and foremost, if you're talking about Mike Matthews, Mike Matthews is staying. Okay, he's going to play. He's going to have a great year. As far as Merk, I think that Merk came here knowing that Nico was the guy. So I don't think that he should be thrown off by the fact that he's second string. Is he going to get some opportunities to play? I'm sure that he will, especially if Tennessee's putting up a whole lot of points. He will get to play. We don't want him to have to play, but yeah, it sounds like he had a good day. We'll get to that here in just a minute. But I don't think that Jake Merklinger is going anywhere. He's waited all this time. What's the point? Next season, this is his team. So I think that we'll be fine right there. But let's pull this back up, okay? Let's get through the strong side ends. Didn't have any notes from them today, but again, there's some names here that I've seen that we haven't really seen up to this point. Just kind of like walking around, they look very well put together. How are they going to play? I don't know. We could kind of gauge it based off of what we've seen from them before. But yeah, I think that we're going to be fine here. As far as our defensive tackles, haven't heard or seen too much from Bryson Easton. I think that that's probably fine. Sounds like Campbell has been stepping up. I need to see these guys start to get healthy. They probably won't. The ones that are out probably won't see them for the rest of spring. I would have to guess, just because they've already missed so much time. but we will see. Okay, so I think that we should be okay here. I've heard several insiders saying that they feel like Tennessee is going to go to the transfer portal, which I'm fine with. They would know better than us, right? Because we're not there at practice and things like that. But yeah, hopefully we can go. If we do go to the portal, my only ask is let's go get a daggum stud. Let's go get the best defensive tackle in the portal. We should have money for us to do it. Now, I'm not counting people's pockets, but I think that we should be able to make that thing work. That's a position of obviously, man, that's very important to a defense. So now let's talk about quarterbacks, y'all. I've got some notes here. All right. So the first thing, let me scroll on down. The first thing that I want to talk about here with our quarterbacks, where the heck are the daggone quarterbacks at? Okay, all right, here they are. All right, so first thing, all right, so again, this is coming from GoVols 24/7 Sports, doing a great job of taking some really detailed notes. They said that the offense is still working on pistol formation. So this is some more confirmation that they are working on. It doesn't necessarily mean that they will run it, but it sounds like they were working on some type of a toss. That's the thing with the pistol. That and we did have that video that came out today. If y'all haven't seen it, definitely go and check it out. But you can get downhill with those runs, but the kind of like toss plays, those are huge, especially with the outside zone. That's going to be really, really, really big. It's just something that we haven't seen too much from Tennessee, but I was happy to hear that. We're also working on running that option game from the pistol. So let's see, what else do we have? So they're saying that it wasn't Nico's best day today. They're saying that he was kind of missing high. They were doing some red zone routes, some fades, some slants with the tight ends and all of that. But sounds like he was a little bit off today. It might have been some situations where, maybe the tight end or the wide receiver didn't run the correct route and Nico threw it to a place that they weren't at. But that's what this is for. I mean, we're going to be just fine. He's been super sharp, super crisp over the course of spring up to this point. It sounds like Jake Merklinger absolutely balled out. He was throwing with great zip, great accuracy, and also sounds like GMAC had a pretty solid day. So let's go on to the wide receivers, y'all. All right, let's go on to these wideouts. And all that I have right here is that Carson Sneed and Tommy Winton, that's two walk-on wide receivers, they were getting more time, and they both looked really good. Obviously, because Braylon Staley wasn't going, so that it's good for them to get more reps. It sounds like Ra Jackson had a very very good day too. Flashed, made some nice catches, I guess, in that red zone situation. All right, so I'm sorry. This is actually this is running backs. I'm sitting here talking about wide receivers, and we're on running backs. So let me go to the wide receivers here real quick and pull this room up for you so you can see how that looks. But yeah, obviously, man, we've got some very talented players. Travis Smith, I think he's definitely pushing. It does sound like Chris Brazo had a good scrimmage. It sounds like all the vets, the guys that we think will start. So we're talking about Mike, talking about Staley, talking about Brazo. Sounds like those guys had a very good scrimmage. But we've got all the freshmen also stepping up. We'll see what happens with Jefferson. Can he come along? Is he still going to be kind of banged up to start the season off? But it'd be great if we could get him going by like fall camp. And then Boo Carter, we know that he did play offense in that scrimmage, but we didn't really get to hear exactly how he looked. But I'm sure that he's going to be fine. Like I said, man, you bring him in for some gadget plays that's not overly complicated and let him go to work. All right, so now we can go back to this running back room. And I don't think I have any notes right here, but I'm just going to double check. I don't think. Excuse me, y'all. No, so we don't have any notes on those running back today, but I can just kind of talk about it. Obviously with Morris being down, hopefully he's not out for a long time because we need for him to get as many reps as possible. But sometimes, like we said, those mental reps can be very beneficial too. And as far as these other ones, man, this sounds like everyone's pretty steady. It sounds like everyone's pretty steady. We'll see how the rotation looks. I wish that this orange and white game could be televised. I got to find a way to get some footage of that. I wish that I could go, but I probably won't be able to because I think that we might, I might actually be coming back from Florida as soon as that starts. I might still be out of town, but either way, I think that the running back room is going to be just fine. So let's talk about Tennessee's tight ends. All right, I'm gonna pull these clips back up for y'all. We were just kind of looking at that, but as far as the tight ends, pull this thing back up. Get to it right there for you. All right, boom. So tight ends. Sounds like within the red zone stuff that they were working on running hook routes. So, hook routes you can run it. I mean, it's supposed to be like 8 to 10, or I guess 8 to 12 yards. It's just like a comeback route, but they were working on boxing out, like using their size. And I think that they were doing this in that red zone period. So they're working on getting the separation from those linebackers. And sounds like we look pretty solid here. But yeah, we've got guys that definitely need to step up. I'll also kind of talk about what I saw out there just from watching. Number one, I think that Brame, he's looking good. He's got a nice frame, or his frame is filled out pretty nice. He's going to have to keep on adding weight. I think that all those underclassmen need to keep on adding weight, but we've got so much time from now to, kickoff, or from now, I would say, to like fall camp, because they'll probably lose a few pounds in fall camp. It's hot. I mean, you run around out there all the time. So you're probably going to lose, I'd say, 5 to 10 pounds worth of water weight. They'll try to keep you hydrated. You know what I'm saying? I think typically you'll have to weigh in prior to practice, and you weigh in after the practice to see how much water weight did you lose. And if you lost too much, you got to sit there and drink the water to get that back up. But either way, I don't even know if they even still do that. That might be like that. There might be some old school stuff. But either way, though, I think that we can see most of these guys add, probably 10 to 15 pounds prior to the season starting. It really looks like Cole Harrison can gain a significant amount of weight. Let me go back in here and let me see exactly how he looks from a size perspective. So they have him at 6'5", 238. He could play at about 250. I mean, and not lose a single step this season. So yeah, I think that everyone's going to be fine. Now let's move on to the offensive tackles. I've got some notes right here on the offensive line as a whole. All right, so the starting group, right? It sounds like they were working in different groups. We kind of saw that as we're going through these clips, and I'm actually going to go ahead and pull this up for y'all real quick. Let me see, where's the offensive line at in this thing? All right, boom. So it sounds like the starting group for the entire offensive line was Lance Hurd at left tackle, Wendell Moy at left guard, William Satterwhite playing at center, Sam Pendleton playing at right guard, and Larry Johnson playing at right tackle. Don't know what the backup groups were, but I'm going to anticipate probably seeing David Sanders working with the twos at this point. They're probably going to try to start moving him up, get him some real, looks versus maybe some more like veteran types of guys. But yeah, that battle at right tackle, we all know that's going to go all the way up to the start of the season. And we'll see how it goes. But just watching, so first and foremost, look at Dagon Wendell Moy giving these guys a real solid look. I love to see that, man. Like that's a veteran that understands, hey, look, like I got to get y'all ready because y'all might have to play. I'm not just going through the motions here. I'm gonna strain with you some, right? Like I'm gonna kind of push back on you. That's what you want to see. Okay, I think that we talked about him. I think the K looked really good. So now, okay, this is our left side. Y'all tell me what you think here. I mean, this looks good to me. That's two guys that can bend. Look at that. Boom, moving bodies. Obviously, it's just a walkthrough, but I like how that's going to look potentially. I'm excited about what the offensive line is going to do. So yeah, that's pretty much all the notes that we had there. Let's watch this one here. Yeah, so that's the same one I was talking about, man. Just giving them a real look, and I think that we're doing a good job with our speed. We've got some big guys that can move. They've cut their weight down. I think that their body composition looks significantly better than any offensive line that we've seen. Also, whenever y'all are watching that video of the pistol, was showing Tennessee from 2021. Look at the difference in how the offensive line looked then compared to now. It is a huge difference. The offensive line, for me, looks significantly better coming up in 2025. All right, so let's keep it moving, right? So we kind of already talked about guards. Like we said, Gage Ginther, who is now playing at guard, he banged up. Hopefully he can get back, but this is a deep room. Center, we've already kind of talked about that. So let's move on to the safeties, right? Got some more notes here. We'll pull the secondary clips up. And actually, let me see. Do we have any more chats in here that I need to get to? I think we might have a few. Let me see. Where we at? Okay, so right here, saying that Spillman looks good. We may have already got to that. And then right here from David Speaks is saying that we'll be up to 10K by the start of the season. You are the best. Oh, thank you, man. Yeah, man. Listen, appreciate that. And from Matt SS, Jordan Burns is going to be a stud. He really is. People are sleeping on Jordan Burns. He's going to be a major problem. And from okay, so David Speaks is saying that we are the best breakdown channel for UT. Thank you for that, man. Appreciate it so much. From Green Wave is saying that he doubts that any other teams have breakdowns on this level. Thank you, man. I appreciate all those very, very kind words. And from Matt SS saying that he'd like to see Nico at 230. Have y'all noticed how much bigger Nico's looked. It feels like every time that we see him, he's looking bigger and bigger. He's probably close to about 230 now. I think he might be close to it, but again, whenever they have a little bit of downtime, it's not going to be major downtime, but when they can focus more on, hey, where do you want to be at to start the season as far as how much stronger do you want to be, how much weight do you want to gain or lose or whatever. Nico, I think, can get up over 230. I think he will get up over 230, maybe 235. And so yeah, he's definitely tall enough to carry it. He's still got, listen, he can carry 240. Like, you see how long he is? He can add a lot of weight. Doesn't mean that he needs to, but yeah, he can most definitely do that. All right. And so right here from All Vols Talk Show saying that his boy Jake is balling out. Love to hear it. Yes, sir. Yeah, man. He's a stud. And from Green Wave also saying that Jake will do some good things at quarterback. No doubt. Yeah, I think we all know that. Okay, so let me see. Do we have anything else? See, we've got some more in here. All right, so let's go ahead and get back. All right, let's go ahead and get back to where we was at. Talking about Tennessee secondary. Y'all have been seeing these clips rolling. I'm going to take it back real quick. And I'm going to take it back to just kind of like looking at the overall room. So safeties, right? Where are the notes at? So number one for me was listen, Coach Banks was getting after it. He was doing a great job coaching. One of the videos actually had some audio to it. So I love what I heard from him. He was getting after it. And he's a real football coach, obviously, but I'm liking what I'm hearing from him. You can tell that he's really stepping up for that room. And also, the safeties worked on blitzes. They worked on, different angles within those blitzes. Hopefully they worked on being able to beat some blocks and things like that, learn how to use your speed, get low, do some things that the offensive linemen aren't going to be good at. And also it looks like Kobe Thomas and Edge Reese Farouk both looked really good today. Andre Turrentine and Sidney Walton were getting some, kind of like extra coaching, but that's also normal. All right. Things like that will happen. Everybody needs some extra coaching. That just means that the coach believes in you if they're coaching you. They just let you mess it up and do it wrong. That means that they never thought that you was going to play anyway. So loving that. All right. So next, Tennessee Star Room. Looking at these guys here, some really good looking bodies. I have some notes here as well. We'll bring these clips back up. So the notes that I have for the Stars is we had Boo Carter, Caleb Beasley, Dylan Lewis, and also Montrell Bandy, who's a walk-on guy. He's like 6'3", something like that. So he's got really good length. But those are the guys that were working at Star. And it sounds like they were working on some line of scrimmage stuff, which we did. We did see that in the video that we put out earlier of practice today. So, those things are definitely good. I think that Caleb Beasley, like we said, he's looking great. He could play at Star. He could play at safety. I think that he could still play corner for us if need be. But maybe they want to try to put a veteran there at Star right there behind Boo to give him some extra time on offense. And obviously, you need to have a backup for him. Now, could that also maybe mean that Jordan Thomas maybe doesn't look as promising that he's going to make it back this year? I don't know. That would be, really diving deep. I don't know how true any of that is, but I had to kind of throw it out there because I was thinking that as I'm reading all this stuff. So I think Tennessee's going to be fine. I think that those freshmen look really good so far, just going through the drills, just looking at how their body is kind of built. They look sturdy enough that they can handle like the physicality portion of it, but there's some guys with some good length too, which is huge playing at Star. You're going to have to cover that slot fade, slot wheels. Yeah, it's almost impossible to stop. So you need that length. That length helps minimize those passing windows and all of that type of stuff. So, yeah, I think that we're going to be fine here. I'm just hoping that we can get some more in-depth notes on how these guys actually look in some scrimmage situations. So we'll see if maybe that happens coming up here at some point. All right, so next, excuse me, I think this might actually be last one, is Tennessee's cornerback room, right? So for the cornerbacks, there's no notes really except that they went and, they worked in a totally different group. Let me see if let me get back to my notes here, make sure that I didn't. Okay, so actually I do. I have my own personal note that I took away just from looking at some of these clips. I think that J-Mac, he looks really good physically. Okay. He looks like he's gained, I'd say, about 10 or so solid pounds from last year. That was one of the questions, actually, whenever he was coming from Temple, came up on his visit. He was listed at maybe like 6'1" or something, maybe like a $190 or whatever. But it sounded like at first Tennessee was going to back off of him because he didn't pass that eye test. Like, he didn't look as big as he was listed with Temple. But, we ended up pulling the trigger. I felt like it was a great idea for us to do it at that point, just because, you could tell on film that he was a physical player. You knew that once he got with Tennessee, he was going to gain the weight. I mean, you've got so many resources here. Like, you're going to put on the weight, you're going to add the strength. That's, to me, was never any real issue. And he played a whole lot of slot, which would be star for us. Played a whole lot of that at Temple. Saying all those things just to say that even from the start of the season last year or from the end of last season, he looks significantly bigger and stronger. I think he's locked in. I think he feels like, hey, this is my opportunity to show all these scouts and everything else with these first few games that we're not going to have all of our starters out there. He's going to get a start. He can kind of show and prove. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing how the cornerback room looks as a whole. Who's going to step up? I would say behind some of those other players. And I apologize. I think I might have been showing y'all the wrong daggum clips this whole time. So let me let these secondary clips kind of go. This is what we were talking about here with the stars working on the line of scrimmage. So look at how good Caleb Beasley's footwork looks. It's kind of a walkthrough, but even still, I think he looks very good. He's got good length. He's got good size here. They're working on some red zone stuff. That's my dog, John Slaughter, making a play. And you can see Coach Banks right there. He's coaching him up. I heard him talking here. Just like here, guy falls down. He was like, man, he's going to be all right. He's a college football player. So loving that. Again, just working on high point footballs and all that. You got to do. So look, that's J-Mac. See how good he looks there? He looks good there. So, all right. Let's go on. Actually, I think that might be it for all of our. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. We got through everything. So what I'm gonna do now is try to get back to some of these chats. So this right here is from All Vols Talk Show and saying, do you have any intel on Carson Snead? He is busting so he's busting or maybe visiting Ole Miss this week. Do they pay him the big bag? So with Carson Snead, I don't have any inside information on that. I don't know. I think he's going to end up with Tennessee. I'm not sure. I don't know if maybe the staff backed off of him some because it is a little weird that he's taking all these visits. So I don't know. That's one for us to watch. But I think he grew up as a Tennessee fan. Obviously, his brother's playing at Tennessee. This might be his brother's last season. Just because his brother plays here doesn't mean he's going to come here. But I would think that, he probably wants to come to Tennessee. I can also say that these days, these kids, they're getting paid to go on these visits. So maybe he's just trying to, get some extra money. I don't know if anyone's going to do enough. If they come out with a huge bag, maybe he would leave. But I feel pretty confident that he will end up at Tennessee. Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, so visiting. All right, got you right there. And Green Wave is saying that he's just there to troll Kiffin. Yeah, I mean, it could be that too. Maybe he's getting some intel for us. I would love to have some guys that we trust. Hey, go on some visits and find out what these guys are planning on doing coming up in 2025. Bring back all those notes to us. You know what I mean? I mean, why not? Also from David Speaks is saying that we are about to land 4-star interior offensive lineman. Leo, yeah. So, yeah, he played at Providence Day with David Sanders. Yeah, it does sound like we got a crystal ball for him. I always felt like Tennessee was going to land him. He was a 5-star before. Really, really good player. So I'm not quite sure. It does kind of feel like things slow down there, at least from the insiders that have all the notes. But yeah, he's going to be really, really good. The offensive line, man, I'm telling you, it's going to be solid. Hopefully for the foreseeable future. From Matt SS is saying that I think that we can get early season win over Georgia this year. I do too, man. I feel good about Georgia. Even Kirby Smart, he's trying to let the fans down softly. He's pretty much. I didn't even hear it. Really, somebody kind of, my pops told me about it. I'll try not to even listen to anything that they say. It's hard because I can't stand them so much. I can't even listen to them talk. But yeah, it sounds like they're not very confident. I mean, we saw what that quarterback did last year, right? I mean, he's not very good, and he's not going to get too much better. That offense ain't going to help him out. I mean, he ain't no daggum baller. The question here is, do they go to the transfer portal? They're probably going to have to. They're probably going to have to go to the portal and try to get somebody. The crazy thing is they've actually got a very good quarterback that's sitting on the bench that they got, I think, just to be like a scout team's player. They're never going to play him. So, how does that impact the future quarterbacks? But, yeah, I think that we're about to go beat Georgia down. Or I think that, they're going to come up to Neyland and get absolutely beat down. I want to be in the house for that one because I want to have it super loud. And from Kevin Dusack, what's going on, Kevin? Sorry to keep you waiting. Saying what's going on, Vol Nation. Love the breakdown, Bull. Thank you for that. All right, let me see. What else do we have? I'm going to that Georgia game for sure. It's going to be crazy. Yeah. From Dirty Higgins. What's going on, Dirty Higgins? Saying that I'm ready for the season to start now. Yeah, we have a long off season after spring practice. From David Speaks is saying that he sees J-Mac being like a Mosley and a Justin Coleman type cornerback this year. Yeah, I could see that. From Matt SS saying that they pay them to visit. Didn't know that. Yeah. Yeah. So that is very, very true. These players, they're gonna get a little bit of cash when they go visit. I don't know if it's for everybody, but for the big ones, oh yeah. you're gonna make a little bit of money for sure. All right, so that's gonna be it. Let me make sure that we got through all these clips here. Did we get to all of them? I think that we did. We showed y'all everything and everybody, but that's going to be it today. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Please do make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and please do also, like we said, consider going out and subbing to our other channel called Sports Legends. We definitely we need to get that thing growing, but we will have a lot more content coming out for everybody. So thank you, and we'll see y'all in just. Oh, actually, let me get to this last one first. Let me play. So kickers, if you're asking, do they pay kickers for visits? No. I mean, not that I know of. I mean, shoot, I don't think so. Or if you're asking about kickers, I have no information on kickers. So hopefully they're going to be good. But yeah, we will see. Either way, y'all, we'll see y'all on the next one. Again, please do make sure to like and subscribe. See y'all in just a minute. Thanks. Peace.